Hey guys, excuse the mess behind me. That's like stuff I'm getting ready for work. Yeah, it's life. So I have done a video on my Carvana experience, and so I'm gonna do a video more on like the personal side of it, because I felt like the Carvana video is not gonna get a lot of my subscribers. It's gonna be people that are more looking into the Carvana process. So I figured I would do this video. A few weeks ago, you guys got a video about our budget and how well we do and how we don't really have a lot of debt and all this stuff. So we do have debt. I have school loans. We owe our kids' orthodontist office. That's 0%. My school loans are pretty low interest rate. So we do have a little bit of debt. We do carry a little bit of debt, but not a lot. This is our biggest debt that we've ever taken on besides a home. And we sold our house. And some people may say things, and my husband has kind of an issue with it too, that we are still renting. We have not decided to buy a home yet. We know we want to buy a home, we just don't know what we want for a home yet. So I'm not gonna go and like make a $200,000 mistake, $300,000 mistake, how much of our houses, you know, are. So backstory, I'm 35, my husband is 40. We have had one car loan in our entire life of owning cars. My husband's owned like 37,000 cars. I have owned a 93 Camry that I purchased in 2004. I then had a 1995 Blazer that I purchased in 2006. I then had a 2000 Chevy Venture that I got in 09 or 2010. I then had my 05 Honda Odyssey that I bought in 2014. Do we see the trend here? I buy 10-year-old cars. They normally had anywhere from 100 to 130,000 miles on them. And every single one of those vehicles hit 200,000 miles on it. Right now, my Odyssey has 203,000 miles on it. So yeah, we bought the 05 Odyssey. We did get a car loan on that one. And we had that car loan for a year and a half before we paid it off. We just made bigger payments. And we were on point to pay it off in 3 years instead of 4 years, maybe like 2 3/4 of a year. But then we sold our house, so then we just wiped it out. So my husband does not like debt. He thinks debt is the devil. He is not a fan of having debt. He does not like owing people money, and he just likes making smart decisions with his money. He tries to reuse and fix anything that he can before he buys something new. If he can buy something kind of like secondhand, he will. He's just not one to be, one, wasteful of money, two, wasteful of the environment and just filling up landfills. That's something that's really important to him. So he really tries to, you know, be super frugal and not buy a lot of things. And he is in the automotive industry, so it's always worked really well for us that we could have older cars. We could buy 10-year-old cars, drive them for quite a few years till they hit 200,000. Typically get rid of them in that like 12 to 15 year mark. We were able to keep them running for minimal cost because my husband is a mechanic. So I have been a stay-at-home mom pretty much since my firstborn turned 1. I quit working in December of 2005, and I did not go back to work in any way, shape, or form until June of 2017. So I was a stay-at-home mom for many, many, many years. It was a huge sacrifice. We did not make a lot of money. I was frugal as could be. I cloth diapered my babies. I breastfed. We couponed. We didn't really go on many vacations for many, many years, really until like 2014. We were just frugal living. In 2017, June of 2017, I became a travel agent and I started working a little bit. I worked from home. In June of 2016, we moved to Georgia, and that was a huge blessing. The cost of living is so affordable down here, and my husband now makes a lot more money than he did there in New England. We can just afford so much here. Yes, we're only renting right now, but when we buy a house here, our house will actually be less than what our rent is most likely. But we are trying to do a 15-year mortgage, and my husband wants to have well over 20% down because he does not want PMI. So we are saving, and then like I know what we can pre-qualify for a home, and we're gonna borrow about 2/3 of that rather than the full amount. So June 2017, I started working here and there, and my credit score started going up because for a long time, I was this woman that didn't have a job, but I had a ton of debt because I had a ton of student loans, because I actually didn't finish school until 2008, 2009, I forget what year it was. So I had a lot of student loans. So I had, for a while, it's not that I had a horrible, like I had bad credit choices. I just didn't have credit because I had no income and I had student loans. We were paying our student loans, but I still had, you know what I mean? Like it was just there. So I started making a little bit more money. So my income started going up. So my credit score started improving, which was a really cool feeling. And then last year, I went to work and took on another, what I thought was going to be part-time job. However, it turned into a full-time job. And I made more money, and my credit score went up even more because I now have a good debt to income ratio. And you know, the beauty of like my kids' braces is that doesn't even go in our credit reports. That's pretty awesome. So we knew that the original plan was drive my car until Trevor starts driving. Trevor starts driving in December, and Trevor is my oldest child, and you know, teach him to drive on that, let him learn to drive on it, and then I'll get a new car. By then I'll have been working for almost 3 years, and you know, the time was there. And we were thinking we would buy like another 10-year-old car, and then I'm thinking in 5 years I'll have to replace it again, and you know, we'll be in this predicament again. I knew I did not want a minivan again. I really wanted to try to get away from the minivan. I do have 4 kids, so I need that minivan style seating. However, I figured I would try my luck with an SUV. 9 times out of 10, I don't have any kids with me. If I do, it's like 2 of my kids. So I'm like, do I really need this big SUV? So I even contemplated getting a 5-seater car, but my husband's like, no, please don't do that. Let's at least get something that holds all 6 of them. So this summer, I knew that like there were things coming up. I needed to replace my tires in my car. I needed to replace some like suspension items. I needed to replace the engine mounts. The transmission is starting to kind of, it's not acting up, but it's like, you can tell that it's not going to be around for forever. The car has 203,000 miles on it. And like the interior is beaten, like it just looks bad. Leather is ripping apart in like my armrest, and it's an amazing car, and it has been so good to me, and like I love that car. But you know, I was just like, you know what, I've been working really hard this year. I have been making it a point that since I started working, I set aside a car payment. It's not what my car payment is going to be, it's a little bit less than that, but I was setting aside a car payment as my down payment to see, like, make sure things would be fine with us setting aside a car payment. And I was just like, you know, the more money I have set aside, the better. And so then my thought process was okay, in like December or January, I'm gonna buy a car. And then I started thinking, I'm like, you know what, and maybe this is immature of me, but I'm like, I have been working my tail off. Like, I work from 5 or 6 in the morning until 8 or 9 o'clock most days, 5 days a week, and I still work on the weekends a little bit between both jobs. And I'm a mom of 4 children, and my husband works really long hours, and during the week, my kids don't see my husband. He sees them on the weekends. So, you know, I'm kind of like a single mom during the week, and I'm like, you know what, screw it. Like, I'm gonna just kind of see what kind of rates I can get, how much I would be pre-approved for, So I went to the traditional car dealership route, and I got an okay rate. Like, it wasn't awful. It was a lot less than our other rate was for my Odyssey. I got pre-approved for a decent amount. I got, they didn't really want a ton down, and I was like, all right, that's pretty great. So I was looking at all the cars, and I'm like, these are just so expensive. Because I knew, you know, that it was going to be somewhere along the lines of a Nissan Pathfinder, Honda Pilot, Toyota Highlander, Hyundai Santa Fe, I think was the one, the Volkswagen Atlas, the GMC Acadia, the Chevy Traverse, and the Toyota 4Runner. So I started looking at all the places, and I was just like, dang, these are expensive, because we were thinking like 2012 to 2015 was what I was honestly thinking that I was going to get. So we started looking, and I started, you know, doing a little bit of research. We were test driving cars, and I'm just like, you know what? I don't want to do this again. Like, I really don't want to do this again. So then we decided, okay, we're going to go somewhere between a 2016 and a 2019, because I don't want to buy a brand new car because they're going to depreciate the second that I drive them off the lot. You know, let's figure out what we want. So then I went to like CarMax and all these places, and I finally narrowed it down to what I wanted. I knew that I wanted a GMC Acadia. And then I was torn between the 2016 and less and the 2017 and above, because they did major changes. They changed like the body style, they made them smaller, they made them way less, all kinds of changes. And I narrowed it down and said, I will deal with the 2016, but I really, really want a 2017. It has a lot of the things that I wanted, and it was silly things, but you have to keep in mind, like, I'm gonna do a before and after. Like, I'm gonna show you my Odyssey, and then I'm gonna show you the Acadia, and you'll see like how different the car is and how much of an upgrade it is just in like technology. So yeah, like I knew that there were features on the 17 that I wanted that the 16 didn't have. So I kept looking, and then this site called Carvana kept coming up, and I'm like, what the heck is this? So I went and I started seeing that they have like every car, and I kind of figured out the process, and you can check out my other video on that. I'm not going to get into that here. And I'm like, you know what? This is like, my husband said, it is the socially impaired's perfect place to car shop. And I am socially impaired. I don't like people. I don't like dealing with people. I don't like dealing with the BS of car shopping. I don't like dealing with people blowing smoke up my butt. I just don't like it. My face doesn't have time for that. I don't have time for that. It's just, I love the fact that I could go on Carvana. I knew this is the price. That's it. That's what I'm paying. This is everything that it includes. Done. So got pre-approved for Carvana. My interest rate was much less. My down payment was 0, so I could pay off my TAVT taxes, which I knew I wanted to do. That was $1,500 to $2,000, and then I could still put a down payment down of what I had. So I was like, heck yeah, less financing. Well, with Carvana, the more I put down, the less interest rate I had, and the dealership wasn't that way. It was like, this is your interest rate, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So started looking on Carvana. I found a version. So basically we were torn if we wanted captain seats or a bench seat in our second row. The bench seat made a lot more sense because I typically only have 2 to 3 kids with us. However, the captain seat is so much nicer, and it has like more of the stuff that I wanted, like the upgrades and things like that. So long story short, I didn't decide, this is just kind of how it worked. I needed a certain engine that was a V6, so I had to get that. And I knew that I wanted the 2017 or above, and I ended up finding a 2018 with 16,000 miles. My car has 203,000 miles on it. And it's pretty loaded. Like, I have the automatic start, I have the automatic back gate, which I didn't need or want. I didn't put those in my fields. It was like, it would have been great if it was there. It has the keyless entry, which is something that I really did want. You can ask I should say that. My family really wanted me to have that because they are so sick of me digging in my purse for my keys. It has leather, which I did really, really want, but I was like okay with having cloth. It only has 6 seats, which I really would have liked to have 7, but 6 is fine. You know, Trevor's gonna be driving next year. He's gonna drive his car everywhere. When we do need, you know, the full 6, it's like when we're going to church, when we are going to a family dinner, when we are going on a trip. Like, those are the times we don't have extra kids with us anyways, so it is what it is. This one had like all kinds of extras. Like, I have like the blind spot detection and like the lane assist and all that stuff, which I didn't need, but it actually came with it. Roof racks, which were an important thing to us. We did want roof racks for when we do travel, because we are gonna have to get something to put up top. It had the wheel package that I wanted. It doesn't have the tint that I wanted, and to be honest, I would have preferred a black car, but I got a white car. So yeah, it's like a step or 2 down from the Denali version. So it's a really nice car. It's the nicest car I've ever owned. It's the most expensive car I've ever owned, and I have worked my tail off, and I was able to finance this completely on my own with my own income and my own credit, and get my very, very first car at 35 years old. So I am very happy and proud of myself. My husband is kind of having some heart palpitations, and you know what it is with my husband? he has such pride that he can, like that I can drive an older car and he can take care of it and we don't have to spend that money and all that stuff. But in my head, I'm thinking my husband is going to be 40 this year. He rarely gets to see the kids during the week. And on the weekends, the last thing that I want him doing is working on a car. So he ends up putting it off until like he really has to. And then he's gone like all day because he has to fix a bunch of stuff in my car. So I'm like, you know what? We're getting older. We're both working. We're making pretty decent money. Maybe we don't go to Disney and do the dining plan that year. You know what I mean? Like maybe we cut back in some other areas and I'll have a car payment for a little while. And then my husband doesn't have to worry about it because this car actually comes with a 2-year, or it still has 2 years left in its warranty, like bumper to bumper. So I'm like, we have a few years that my husband doesn't have to worry about this car. And it's, you know, it's a gift to me because I'm gonna get to drive it. However, it's a gift to him too, I think, not having to worry and stress about dealing with a car that's older and all that stuff. So our plan, because we do try to be very, very like Dave Ramsey like, is I plan to set aside my normal car payment, like, you know, I have been doing. And then I am trying to set aside, so like if you take a car payment, let's say a car payment is, this is easy math, $400, you have 4 weeks in the month, you would take $100 each week and put it towards your car payment. Well, what I want to do is I want to take like $100 one week, $200 next week, $100 one week, $200 next week. So I have a, like 1 month I'm making a regular payment, the next month I'm making a double payment. But I'm making, you know, like a double payment to principal, not principal and interest, obviously. So I think by doing that, I will shave a couple of years off at least. Anytime we get extra money, we'll just put it towards the car. Honestly, I could probably afford to put like $1,000 a month towards the car if I really wanted to, and we may go that route and just get it paid off like really quickly in like a year, year and a half. But yeah, I got a new car, have a little bit of debt now, so we're kind of gonna go real strict Dave Ramsey again. But I'm very excited and very proud of myself. I feel like I worked really, really hard. I'm a hard worker in general, but I just feel like I worked really, really hard for this, and I'm very excited to have something new. And you know, I wasn't embarrassed of my car. Like, it's a car, it gets you from point A to point B, but it's just really nice to have something new and just nice. And I just pray that my kids don't ruin it. Like I said, like, you know, we only have 1 car seat left. We have Ellie's and a booster. I'm not gonna allow them to eat in my car. I'm not gonna allow them to do anything in my car. So yeah, we financed a new to me car. So I have a 2018 car. That is so crazy to say. So yeah, I would highly recommend Carvana. You know, if you are that stay-at-home mom and you just think things aren't ever gonna get better, they will. Things have been the best for us financially. We have, you know, we're getting awesome insurance. We have, you know, we're having nicer things. We're able to kind of spend a little bit more money without thinking about it. We're able to save a lot of money. Life is good and it gets better. I promise you it does. The only thing that sucks when your kids get older and you start working is you have to deal with a lot of hormones and craziness, but at least you have a little bit of like money and sanity. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, please let me know. I will definitely do like a car tour before and after, something like that. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, thank you guys.